Oh my, it's kind of windy out here today. But today it is salsa making day, and so I am out here picking green peppers. I'm hoping I'll find a lot. Seems like each year I always have one successful crop, and I have to say this year my green peppers are probably the most successful thing I've grown because they are huge. I've never grown them this big before. There's lots of really nice green peppers in there too. I think that ought to be enough green peppers to at least get me started. Now I'm going to pick some cilantro. Most of my cilantro is trying to seed out, but I'm thinking that this stuff right in here will be good. That ought to be enough. So the salsa making is finally underway. Brooke is busy making up some fresh salsa. She's about to get that done. It just has one of them little packets that you mix with the seasonings and stuff, and you just mix up fresh tomatoes. So good. So we're making that up just to eat. And then over here I'm busy chopping up tomatoes and getting them ready to make some salsa to can. One thing I like to do when I'm making salsa is I like to drain the tomatoes when I chop them and get as much of the juice off as possible. So that way when I dump them into the pot, the salsa will turn out a little bit thicker. Got all the ingredients added to the salsa, and now we are just waiting for it to start simmering so we can add it to the jars. Now I'm wiping down the rims with a little bit of vinegar. As you can see, I made a horrible mess right there. I overflowed a jar. If you would like this recipe, I will leave a link to it in the corner, so you can just click there and go to my blog, and I will have the recipe there for you. Boy, the wind has just been blowing all day, and I think it is blowing up a storm now. So Brooke poured herself a bowl of salsa, and then she saw my mom outside, so she decided to take a jar of salsa over to my mom, and I guess they're visiting or something, and she hasn't come back. And so I tasted it, and it was so good, so I started eating it. I just might end up eating the whole thing, so I'll probably be in trouble when she gets it back. I'll stick the empty bowl back over where I found it and see if she notices.
You ate all my salsa?
Yes.
Gee.
Okay, so we got one batch of salsa done, and then we kind of pooped out and decided not to do any more for today because it was kind of late when we got started. So we decided to play a game, and it's one of my favorite games. It's called Agricola. And it's actually a farming game. Imagine that. Object of the game is to build up your farm, of course, and try to get as many points as possible. We will show you a little bit of how to play this game, but it'll take forever to explain all the ins and outs to the game, right?
Yes.
So we will just basically just kind of play and let you watch. But it is a super fun game, so if you're ever looking for a good strategy game that the whole family can play, this would be a very good one. It has tons of pieces, and I will show you real quick. We took it out of the box, the original box, and we put it into a Subway platter tray. So that way we can keep all the pieces separated, because it makes it easier. We just keep it stored in this. But anyway, like, here's the fields. And these are some more rooms to your houses.
Those are wooden houses.
The wooden houses, and then these are the clay houses, and these are the stone houses. And you have to upgrade your house, and the more upgrades you do, you get more points for it. And then, let's see.
We have the
Reed.
Yeah. And then we have grain, and we have cows, and we have carrots, or vegetables.
Yeah, that's vegetables.
And then pigs, and then clay, and then sheep, and then this is stone, and this is food, and then wood.
Right. Those are all your resources and animals and stuff that you add to your board as you play. And over here is your board where you build your farm.
And these are your people. It takes 2 food to feed 1 person.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things about this game, or the most important things, is you want to be sure you collect food for each round. Because at the end of each round, you have to be able to feed your people. And
not round, but after each stage.
Yeah, stage, I should say. Because there's what, like, different...
There's 6 stages. And then there's, 4 rounds in 1 stage. So you have a lot of time and turns to collect food.
Right.
But as the game gets closer to the end, you have less rounds, so it makes it harder to collect food.
Right. I'm sure we've already confused.
I know. It's like...
But anyway, yeah.
There's just a lot to this game.
Okay, so we're just going to get started, and we'll kind of maybe explain things as we go. So Brooke is first player, and so the first player always starts out with only 2 food, and then all the other players start out with 3. So she's going to plow a field. So she fills one of her squares with a plowed field. Okay, so now it's my turn, and I'm going to get one of my people. I think I'm going to take some wood. So I'll put that there.
Take 1 grain.
Okay, and then I am going to take 1 occupation. Okay, so I chose to take an occupation. And right here we have occupation cards that have different occupations that you can do. Like, for example, this mushroom collector says whenever you use a family member's action to take wood from an action space, you can leave 1 of the wood on the space and take 2 food in exchange. Now this is a really good one, and it's a really useful one because you always need to be collecting food, and sometimes it gets kind of scarce, and if you don't have enough food to feed your family at the end of a round at harvest time, then you have to take a begging card, and that makes you subtract points at the end. So I'm choosing this one, the mushroom collector.
You should have done that one first. Because you took the wood.
Oh, I did. That's right. If I would have done this one first and then taken the wood on my second turn, I could have left one of these woods on that space, and then I could have gotten to food. So anyway, that's my turn right there. So the first round is done. We don't exactly play it right in the beginning because we take a round before we turn one of these cards over, just because it kind of helps us a little bit. We need all the help we can get with this game. So anyway, we took a round. You really shouldn't. You're supposed to turn over this card to begin with, but we took our first round, collected our resources, and it just helps get you a jump start on the game because sometimes we have a hard time. Okay. We turn this card over. We can now sew and or bake bread, and we can use that as one of our moves if we want.
I'm going to choose to sew, and that allows me to put my grain on my field.
Right.
And then it gets 2. And then at the end of the harvest, I can harvest my grain.
I'm going to take wood again. I'm going to leave one of the woods, and I'm going to collect 2 food for that. Okay, so now I'm set on food because I have like 5 food here, and I only need 4 at the end of the round. So I don't have to worry about collecting food. We've made it to the end of the first stage. At the end of each round, you have to replenish everything. And as you can see, things accumulate when players don't take them. And so now it is harvest time. So you take one of each of the crops that you have on there, if you have any, and you put them right there. We each have 2 people, so we need to basically pay for food.
And then if we have any animals, it's breeding. But none of us has animals, so.
Okay. So I'm going to choose to build some fences. And then each one of these things is a fence. And I need 10 of them because I want to build a fence all the way around this whole thing. So, and it takes 10, so. Okay, so there's 10. I'm going to pay 10 wood, and then I'm going to build my fences. Oh, I should have waited.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That wasn't a very good strategy. Actually, I should have collected more wood so I could have put my 4 more fences in there. Anyway, that was a bad move. You don't want to do that when you really play it. You want to try to collect as many as you can. So, anyway, got my fence built. Okay, so we are nearing the end of stage 2, and we are on our last round, and we have turned over this one, and now the stone is available. And Brooke is replenishing everything. I collected the sheep, and I put them in my fence. And I collected the reed, so those are both low again. And let's see, what have you done? Brooke's built some fences.
And that's it.
That's it. Okay. So we're on our last round, and Brooke goes first, and so she needs to choose where to go. And so in this round, since it's the last one, at the end of this round, we're going to have to feed our family. So we need to be thinking about gathering up enough food. So within our 2 turns that we have, we need to make sure that we have enough food.
I mean, I have enough food, but I thought about taking that spot.
No.
Just so I have plenty.
No, you better not. Just go somewhere else because I need food. You don't. So see, I only have 1 food. Well, and she has enough food to feed her. Yeah.
Well, you took all the sheep and the reed, so it's time for me to do something me.
No. Now that, I will admit, for her, that would be possibly a good strategy, but it could also hurt her too because she might give up a turn where she might get something more valuable to advance herself in the game. So, it just depends on what she wants to do. Whether she wants to be mean to me or whether she wants to advance herself.
You have already been mean to me, so I think you're going to take that for a while.
My gosh. So now, since she took all that food.
And then I didn't really need it either.
And she didn't need it either. See? She's really mean. You don't want to play this game with her. Or I have to come up with 3 more food. And so I'm basically going to have to waste my 2 turns coming up with food instead of gathering resources and stuff like that because I didn't think ahead and snag the food before Brooke did. So, I think probably my best strategy would be to take the wood here, and since I have this card, this mushroom collector card, that means that I can leave a wood in exchange for 2 food. That way at least I gather a little bit of resources and get 2 food. Okay, Brooke went right there. What'd you take?
The clay.
The clay. So now she's got her stack of clay right there. And let's see. It's my last turn before harvest. I really need food, but we can also, at harvest time, we can use our grain for food.
I think for 1 food.
Right. 1 food 1 grain equals 1 food.
Mm-hmm.
So since I have grain right here and I have 3 foods, I think I'll probably just use my grain for a food, and then I will try to get something that will help me, maybe. What should I go for? See, and also, when we turn this card over right here, it's family growth and also 1 minor improvement. Well, if we would go there, we could add another member to our family, so we could have 3 family members, which would help you out because then you could take 3 turns each round. But then at the same time, it's hard because you got to come up with basically 6 food. Before you can add a person, you do have to build a room. And like right now we have the wooden hut, and so that takes 5 wood and 2 reed to build. And I only have, 3 wood right now, so I can't build a room, nor can I do family growth because I don't have an extra room on my house yet. I think for now I'm just going to go ahead and plow a field. And another thing you have to think of too when you're playing this game is you have to try to get all of the squares covered up, because if you have any open squares at the end of the game, you have to subtract out 1 point for every square that's not taken. So now it's the end of stage 2, and so now it is
So we need to harvest our fields.
harvest time. And so take a grain off of each one of them and put them up there. And we feed our family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have 3, and I'm just going to take 1 grain and turn those in. And then it's breeding time for anybody who has animals. And I have animals, and I have basically 2 sets of sheep, so they're going to breed, so I'm going to get 2 sheep. Right?
Yeah, do you want them though?
Why? I forgot the reason why I wouldn't want them.
I mean, you could keep one for a pet for your house, but do you want the other one?
Could have built a stable, which would make, and set it right here, and then that would allow me to have 4 animals on 1 square. But since I don't have a stable, I can only put 2 animals on a square. But you can keep 1 animal as a pet, so yeah, I'll take my 1 sheep and put it in my house. So I got my pet sheep in the house. Okay, so the next thing for me would be to get wood and then focus on building my fences and getting them right here, so that way I can get other animals in there as they become available. And what's another thing I need to focus on? I'm telling Brooke my strategy, so that way she'll take notes and then she'll mess it up. I also need to work on collecting wood so I can try to build another house, a room to my house, so I can get another player, or another family member, I should say. So what do you need to work on yours?
I honestly have no idea. I guess get sheep. I'm thinking about transferring my wood hut into clay, so the way maybe it might be slightly easier to add on to another house since you keep taking all the wood.
Oh, that's a good strategy. So now she turned over another card, and it says, take 1 vegetable. So if we go there, we can get a vegetable.
Honestly, I think I might go for the wood.
Oh, no. You're so mean.
Well, honestly, if you want to get first dibs on everything, you could take first player, you know.
And see, I forgot to explain this one too. Right here is starting player, and so if I wanted to have first dibs on things and start each round, I could basically go there, and I would get this, and it would basically represent that I am the starting player. And so every round, I would be the one that would get to go first. And that's kind of a good thing to do, because then you get first dibs on every round of what you like. But then if you do it, it wastes a turn too, because you can't collect resources and stuff. But then you also can make a minor improvement. You can use your minor improvement cards right here to get something that would help you. Like, for example, right here is a minor improvement, and it's a windmill. And up in the corner, as you can see, it says that it takes 3 wood and 1 stone to get it. So I can't do this one because I don't have any stone right now, but if I could, I'd play that, and then it says at any time you can convert grain to 2 food without having to bake bread. So like at the end of the round, I can just say, hey, you know, I've got the windmill, so I can turn my grain into 2 food. So I can just take 1 grain and that would be 2 food. So that one is a really, really good one to get, but you have to have a stone to get it. So that might be my next strategy, is I could go for the stone over there. And then on my next round I could do, or my next turn I could get that starting player thing. I think I will go right here and get the stone.
Get the sheep.
And then I'm going to go ahead and take starting player, and then I'm going to play this improvement, which is the windmill. And I need to pay 3 wood. Ooh, that takes all my wood and 1 stone. But now I'm set, because now I can just use my grain and convert it to food anytime I need to. Okay, we are at the beginning of the last round of stage 3, and we got the wild boar. Okay. Now, I cannot collect the wild boar because you have to have a fence to put it in, a separate fence for the animals, and so what I need to do is I need to build my fences yet. So I'm going to have to collect wood and build my fences before I can get the boar. This is like a really pathetic game for us because we're not using good strategy at all. Because normally by now, in this late of the game, we would have at least had our house expanded, and you know, 1 or 2 of us would have an extra family member and all of that. But we don't even have that. We'll be lucky if we even get our houses expanded by the end. Now, see, I would really like to take the wood, but there's only 3 pieces, and I need 4.
You could go ahead and take it and just build 2.
True. Or I could leave it and hope Brooke doesn't take it, and then that way it would save a turn. Oh, I'm going to sow. Plant my little vegetable in my field, and I'm going to plant me another grain. With the vegetables, you only get 1 vegetable on top of it when you sow. And then, of course, you get the 2 grain on top of the one that you sow. Now our round is over, so it goes into harvest phase, right?
I saw one more person.
Oh, you have another person. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to skip ahead.
Ooh. You don't have any food at all.
Well, at least I got my windmill and I can use my grain. So Brooke played and she took the wood. Okay, so now it is time for harvest. So we harvest.
And then we need to feed our people, which I have 4 foods.
Okay, and since I have the windmill here, I can turn grain to food. And since I don't have any more fences because some certain person keeps stealing all the wood, my sheep breed, but then
they run away.
Yeah, they basically run away because I don't have enough fence to hold them all.
I mean, you can. But you're just wanting to have more animals, more different kind of animals.
Actually, I am going to take my 2 sheep. So basically my sheep bred, and I got 2, and I can put them here on this square. But if I want any boar or cattle, I'm going to have to fence these sections off in order to put them in there. Okay, I looked through my minor improvements, and I really wish I would have paid attention and seen this one from the beginning. It says, when you play this card, immediately build 1 stable. The stable does not cost anything, but you must pay the cost shown to play the card. Well, it looks like it costs 1 wood. And after you play this card, you pass it to the player on your left, who adds it to his or her hand. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to take my 1 wood, and then I'm going to give this stable to Brooke to put in her hand so she can play it if she wants it sometime. And I'm going to build myself a stable. I wish I'd have done that sooner, because then I could put more sheep in one spot.
I think you can move it, can't you? Or would that be bad?
I don't know if you can move it or not. I'd have to look at the instructions. But for now, I'm going to play it that you can't move your sheep. So do I put it here so I can collect more cattle? Or do I put it here so I can collect more sheep?
Well, if you put it there to collect cattle, you need to...
I need to build my fence.
Build your fence.
I think I'm going to put it here to collect cattle or boar, because on my next turn, if take the wood, I'm going to
I was actually planning to.
Oh, you better not.
What?
Seriously?
Yes!
Brooke, you're so mean. Isn't she mean? Okay. Well, now Brooke is blowing my strategy out of the water. Oh, wow. Okay. At the beginning, we forgot to flip this card over at the beginning of the round. It says family growth even without space in your house. And we just remember to flip that over. We should have done that at the beginning. But I think I'm going to play mine there so that way I can get
You talk about me being mean.
Another person, so that way next round I can make up for it.
Got the wood, so I'm making the fence. I have 4 woods right here. Then I'm gonna get the cow.
Since it's the last round, that means that after this round we are going to have to harvest and feed the family. And since I now have 4 family members, I'm going to really have to focus on food. So I think the very first play that I'm going to do is take all this food before Brooke takes it.
Not fair at all.
Oh, that's totally fair.
Going to renovate my wood huts into clay huts.
It says 1 reed plus 1 per room to clay huts. So you need, how many rooms did you do? 3?
3.
So you need 3 clays and 1 reed. Okay, so now it's my turn. What do I want? Oh, I'm going to build fences. That's right. I got 3 wood. And I'm going to put 3 fences up here.
Why do you need 3?
I think I'm going to snag the wild boar while I got a chance. Put them in there. It's time for harvest.
Oh yeah.
Guess we'll do the harvest.
I think I'm gonna transfer all my into food.
Okay.
This will feed 3 people, and then I'll do 1.
And how much is the cow? Just 2, like the sheep.
4. The sheep were each 2, and I had 3 sheep, so that fed 3 people, and then the cow does 4 food, so that fed 1 person.
Okay.
So I got 2 extra.
All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna feed my people. I need 8 pieces of food. There's 6 right there. And then 1 grain, because I have that windmill to convert to 2 food.
That windmill's handy, isn't it?
It's very handy. I'm so glad I got that. Okay, now it's breeding. And I get a wild boar. I'm going to let my sheep run away because I want to fill this one with cattle if somebody doesn't take them, which I don't think she will because she already has her own.
I'm gonna do 1 pig as a pet. And then the other one just runs away because...
And what's the last card? Renovation. You can renovate or build fences. It's just an extra space to do that stuff if you need it. So it's my turn to go first, and I think the very first move I'm going to make, which might, I don't know if this, I haven't thought this through or anything, but I'm going to plow a field, and it says and or sow. The reason I chose that is because I have one more space to fill up, and it was like the easiest thing to do to get my spaces all filled up. And then I can also sow on the same turn. I'm going to plant 2 grain and 2 vegetables.
I'm going to plow a field.
Okay, I think I'm going to snag the cattle.
I'm going to build a clay hut. I have 5 clay and 2 reed.
Okay. I have no idea what to do now. About the only thing I could do would be to renovate my house to a clay or even a stone, and that would give me more points in the end, but there's not really the resources out there to do that. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do a family growth just so I can get the extra point for the family member at the end. Oh crud, I didn't think about food though. Dang it.
Oh, they only cost 1 food.
Oh yeah. If you do a family growth at when it's on the last round of the stage, you only pay 1 food for the child basically.
Let's take a vegetable.
What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this right here. It's a day laborer. And I'm just going to get 2 food. Okay, so that's the end of that round. So now we do the harvest. Okay. And then we feed our family. Okay, so I have 4 people, so that's 8, and then plus the half, which is 9. So I have to come up with 9 food this time.
Like, that's gonna be hard.
Breeding phase.
So, get a sheep, get a cow. Oh.
Each of my sheep can breed, but they'll run away because I don't have anywhere to put them. And I can have another boar because I have that stable in there. And then my 2 cows breed, but the baby runs away because there's no room for it. And then that's the end of the game.